Testing 1, 2, 3. So Mark and I went to the Muay Thai today.
Yeah.
So we pull up and we walk inside. It's a little dark, like Mark said.
Mm-hmm.
And I go up to the guy, and the first thing I say is, "How's it going?" And he says something, not acknowledging the "How's it going?" And I ignore that, and I go, "How's it going?" Like I wanted that to be the foot we started on. And then he goes, I'm good. How about you? I was like, I'm good. So we're here to inquire about signing up. And then he goes, we're actually closing up now. We showed up at like midday. So middle of the business day.
I thought you meant like the place was shutting down.
That's what I thought.
And
That's actually exactly what I thought he meant when he said it.
Oh shit!
Because he was like, "Yeah, we're closing up now." I'm like, "Oh, I guess they're done for."
They're done.
good.
I didn't even think of that.
But then
They picked the worst day to come in.
yeah, it was like what, like 1 o'clock or something.
It was roughly 1.
Yeah.
He goes, "Yeah, we're actually just about to close up now." And we're like, "Oh, so we just missed you, but your sign says 9 to 8." And he goes, "Yeah, we're gonna close up for a few hours until the evening." And we're like, "Okay." So I don't know what's the
So
plan
did you
now.
go back?
No, we were both
At
busy.
work.
He had work and I had my.
So I'm
stuff
guessing
going on.
either that guy was about to be or in the middle of lunch
No.
or like
Well, so
Yeah,
when we left, when we left the joint, it said
Yeah.
on the bottom in small text, and someone wrote in Sharpie
Oh.
like Monday to Friday we're closed from 1 to 4.
Yeah.
So
So
that-
either way, they
those
do
are-
close
those
at
Are
are-
they a fucking restaurant?
those
They
are their-
take the afternoon off.
I think they probably have like morning classes and like
evening.
and then
just
like
'cause
kind of
the-
like morning and then night classes. So
I
people
guess.
like
Who's gonna go?
before work or post work or school or whatever, but like that kind of like middle ground. I guess that's their.
I feel like they should keep the gym open in case someone wants to just come in and like
That's what I was
use
just
the
gonna say, like,
equipment.
what if someone
Or
goes there
lift
for like the
weights or
gym in the
something.
lift
middle of the day?
weights?
Yeah, honestly, after when I was in the car with Patrick, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this because like it's really expensive, and I already go to the gym like to lift weights. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'd have to cancel my gym membership. I wouldn't want both to be
Yeah.
active because that's a lot of money.
Okay.
Um,
So wait, so are you officially out?
kinda, but I don't know. I still yet to think about it more.
All right.
But
Mark,
like
would
to me,
you
it's
be-
just yeah.
Would you be willing, in probably like July, I think I'm going to do the other gym
Cordoso.
for like a month and like go consistently for a month while also doing the gym. Like
But
every
wait.
now and then.
But how many days are you gonna go to the boxing gym?
I say maybe like 2-3 times a week.
And then you go to the gym 5 times a week.
4.
Okay. So the days that you
Insane.
don't go to the gym, you'd go to the.
Well, the gym I'd still be doing early morning, so it's not going to like collide
so
with
you
me going to the boxing gym.
would do days where you go to the gym in the morning and then do the boxing at night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
may
open
wanna
to
give
it.
that a shot. I think they don't only have boxing there. I think though.
My thing is like, I just don't. I mean, this is a kind of a boring conversation. I guess we'll just do off air at some point. But like, I was thinking, like for the boxing gym and shit, I feel like it's gonna be really expensive no matter what. So if I only use it a couple times a week, I'm gonna feel like I'm wasting it.
Mm.
But the problem is, I want to be at the actual like weightlifting gym like 4 times a week as well. So it's like I'm gonna only have time to go a few times a week because I don't go as early as Malcolm. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know. It's just like that's why I have to look into the scheduling of it, and maybe this other gym is cheaper. But anyway, that's the
Gym shit.
yeah.
So no Muay Thai yet.
No
No.
Muay Thai yet.
You didn't bring Pamu with you?
No, Pamu was there.
Yeah,
Oh, was he?
And he got bamboozled with us.
Oh, there you go.
So I
Shout
guess
out. Hi, Pamu.
he said Monday. I don't know if you're free Monday to try and do a
Uh,
part 2.
I
Bro,
don't know.
over the weekend, let's just look online.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's why I was
That's
like,
what you were saying
yeah.
originally. And yeah. let's
Because
just
like
do
all their
that.
information's online as well,
Yeah.
like payment and like how the membership works
Yeah.
and whatever.
Yeah. But either way, like I'm locked in. Like
Yeah.
I'm like I was going there ready to like see the schedule and then just like okay, these are the days I can go and this is what's gonna happen kind of thing.
Mm.
That's where I'm at right now.
Okay.
Yeah. And then like I'll do the 1 month and then like Malcolm said, I'm willing to do like the Cordoso after because Muay Thai to continually do it is way more expensive than the Cordoso, I think.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. How's your day, Malcolm?
Long.
Oh yeah, you're a working man now.
I wake up at 4:30.
You're a blue
go to the
collar man
gym,
now.
And then I go to kill myself at work for 10 hours.
What'd you do today at work?
Literally
Yeah.
from 7 to 4:30, I was bagging sand.
Bagging sand?
Bagging sand. There was nothing to do. No, 0 deliveries. I was stuck in the warehouse all day while my warehouse manager, like foreman, whatever, was being a fucking dickhead all day long.
What was he doing?
He was trying to get me to bag. Every second that I wasn't doing anything, he was like, "Get on the hopper," and I was just like, I just like go wander off, do whatever, like take my time. And he'd tell Daniel to do the same thing, and like he'd always catch me and Daniel doing something random, like instead of doing what he tells us. And I don't like to do what he tells me because we're gonna blur it out.
So literally this conversation is going to be the cold open, and then it's going to go Malcolm saying we have to cut all this out, and then it's just going to cut back to this conversation. It's going to all be gonzo.
God. So yeah,
I thought I had
That's
something
fun.
to say, but I guess I don't.
I wish I
I'm
could
ready to go.
include that in there, but
it is what it is.
hitting people's cars
Some,
with rocks.
some things you can say, some things you can't say.
Are we ready to get
I think
going?
we're good.
Sure.
Let's go. But whatever, it's dumb and stupid and I'm angry. Welcome back to episode 60. Holy shit. Of Wildly Adequate.
9 more.
The shit 9 away. As Malcolm said last time, 10 away. Now we're 9. The show about anything, everything, and usually nothing. I, as always, am 1/4 of your hosting crew, Mr. Matthew Arso. And I am joined by, leaning on me, Patrick, Mark, who's not leaning on me, and Malcolm, who's
like to
also,
be.
thankfully, not leaning on me.
Not big
Gentlemen, we are going to get right into it. I'd like to start. I don't know how long we'll go on this. So we talked about car insurance. No, I'm fucking.
It's like, all right, let's get back into
Continue
it.
car
I want to talk about your cell phone provider.
where we picked up from last time. No, this is. I guess it's
Literally bridge the episode.
it's ever so slightly connected of a topic, but I figured we teased this a little while ago, and we're finally going to talk about it, gentlemen. Tipping.
Oh wow.
Tip.
The day that Patrick was dreading
Why?
has finally come.
He says, we start sweating.
When we expose him as a terrible tipper, but also where he and I reignite a conversation we once had at work for at least an hour about tipping. What's up with tipping? What's everybody think? Let's get into this.
I mean, you want to go first?
Sure. I had a tipping experience when I went to Europe for the first time. And when I was in an Italian restaurant, super good meal
In Italy?
in Italy,
Wow.
and I didn't know what the tipping situation was. The restaurant was completely empty, which was like shock. I mean, they eat really late there, and I ate dinner at like 5 because Isabel likes to eat early, so it was kind of odd. Completely empty restaurant. They give us full service, whatever. We're done. I look at my bill. I'm like, okay, like, do I tip? Do I not tip?
How much was it?
Like 56.
Oh, that's not bad.
56.
Euros?
Yeah.
So we're talking 70, 75.
Mhm.
Go on.
Yeah.
That's not that bad for two people, though.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's not bad. We got like 2 apps, 2 desserts. 2
Oh yeah,
mains.
that's
Two
wonderful.
apps and 2 desserts?
Yeah.
And you're
That's
paying less
wonderful.
than $100 Canadian dollars? It's
That's
fantastic.
crazy. Yeah.
It was a
Thank
great
you,
meal.
Europe.
But yeah, I decided not to tip because I looked it up at there and I was like tip, and it said tipping is not like a thing in Italy. Like they just expect it. I don't know what they expect. I just it wasn't a thing, so I was like, fuck it, I'm not tipping.
Tipping is not a very big European thing generally.
Which is
'cause
great.
Even in Portugal, like
I'm moving to Europe.
when when me and my family went there, the like 4 times we've been there over the years, like that was the thing because my dad is one of those people who tips well, like here in Canada and in the States and shit. And when we would go to like Portugal and shit, it would always weird him out where like we would be at restaurants paying and he'd like try and tip
And they'd be like, no.
the people, and they'd kind of be like, hey, like you don't have to do that, like we don't really do that here, blah blah. And
The restaurant pays us what we
yeah,
should
exactly,
be paid.
which is what we're gonna get into. But my dad was very kind of like adamant about like, no, like I feel like even in New York, the last time we were there, we took like an Uber, which was my dad's first time being in an Uber, and like our aunt ordered it for us. And my dad was so like put off by the whole experience. He's like, but I'm used to standing on the street and then I hail a fucking cab or whatever, and you just order this Uber on the phone, and then
You can tip on the phone, too.
But then he's talking to my aunt. He's like, so you paid for it already, like on the phone? And my aunt's like, yeah, like it's all taken. He's like, and you've tipped and paid. And it's nice, like, and my mom and my aunt are like telling my dad, like, yes, everything's fine, like stop worrying. And my dad still on the way out of the
Cash?
Uber, like gave the Uber driver cash because he's like, I need to like know I need to know this works, kind of like my dad's, bless his heart, he's stuck in his ways. But yeah, that's the thing where I feel like tipping as we know it is a very Western, specifically North American thing, because I can't speak necessarily to like Africa or South America or some of these parts of the
Is
world.
there
But I
tipping
know
in Egypt,
Europe
Patrick?
doesn't really tip, and Asia, at least some countries like Japan and shit, they don't really do tipping at all either, kind of thing. So it's a very like us centric thing.
I think in general, to me, it depends on whether I'm being served a lot or not. I don't know. It's kind of a weird subjective line, I guess. But like, if I'm going somewhere and they're just like throwing something in the microwave and just like handing it to me, it's not like I've been I've been like someone's been taking care of me and like serving me type thing. You know what I'm saying? Which is why sometimes I'm like when I go to like a sub place like a Subway. Sometimes I do tip because I'm like they're making the sandwich or taking the time to put it together or whatever. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. Just I don't know. It depends on if I'm in a tight situation a little bit. But yeah, I feel like if I'm at a restaurant, sit down restaurant, like there's no doubt you have to tip, and I tip, at least what is it, like 15% the basic, I guess, the minimum, like 15 to 20. So that to me is just like, yeah, if I'm being served by people and they're like asking me if I'm doing fine and they're taking my questions or taking my order and whatever, like if it's just kind of like a quick like, hey, here's your thing, I don't feel like I want to tip them just naturally.
Any of you, I guess, barring Malcolm's Europe story, like here, have any of you ever not tipped at a restaurant?
At a sit down place, no.
I think I've had like bad service like one time, just didn't tip.
Because I've never, that's the one thing, is I've never had like
a really negative,
shitty enough service that I've been like up in arms enough to be like, no, fuck this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I've maybe not tipped as high, but I've never that I can think of personally had an experience where it was like, this was so out of pocket that like I'm not tipping at all kind of thing.
Yeah,
Patricia?
No, I've always tipped at restaurants. I sit down restaurants.
Good.
Well,
Good.
also most of the time, almost every time I sit down at a restaurant, he's like checking to make sure. Most of the time I sit down at restaurants, when you go to pay, it's like there's like the little 4 squares, and it's like you pick 15, 20, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I think most people do at a sit down restaurant. I think the debate comes with when it comes to like a coffee shop or something like that.
Well, I honestly forget most of the conversation you and I had at work because it was many months ago about tipping, but I remember like bits and pieces. But that is the thing with tipping, where I get the like principle part of it, where it's like if I walk into, not that I ever fucking go, but if I walked into a Subway and then I'm like going to pay and they flip the fucking thing around and it's got like all the tipping options on it, from a principle perspective, I don't really feel obligated to tip like at all.
Yeah.
My thing is in more of a literal sense, where I have the means almost every single time to like hit the 10% option and pay an extra 80 cents.
Stop flexing on us.
Maybe
bro.
$1.
Come on now.
So to me, it's like a thing
Plenty
of like
plenty of means.
even at a place like that, or I don't. Not like if I go to like an Osmos or something, but I don't even remember if they ask for it.
I don't think they do.
Half the time I order online just so when I get there it's ready already,
Yeah.
and there's no like tip thing on the website. But I think if I've
Game
done
the system,
work
baby.
around, baby.
but if I've done it like in person and at Osmos, they turn the fucking thing around, and it's like, yeah, to add an extra like $1 to my
Not gonna do
bill is really not a problem. So I get the principle part of like, I don't feel obligated to do this. I don't need to do this. For me, it's purely just a thing of like, it's $1. I don't care.
Matty, think about it. Like, think about all these coffee shops and small little like fast food places that turn the iPad around. Imagine it was in the literal sense and they were using their words. They go, "Can I have a tip?"
I guess. Well, there is a certain like.
Would you give them a tip?
There is a certain
Yeah,
oddness.
you say the same thing with a restaurant, no?
Huh?
So if your server comes up to you and is like, "All right, can you give me extra money now?" Like that would be weird either way,
Yeah,
Whether
but
it's a restaurant
At a
or-
restaurant, it's different. Like when they're not giving you the thing where it's like, "Oh, like we need a tip." Like they're not turning it to you. Like
Well, on the
they're
vending
going,
machine.
they're just gonna ask you a small little question, real quick.
A few, I saw
me off so
I saw a
much.
post about that where it's like they're always like, "Oh, like just gonna ask you a few questions." Like only, it's actually it's gonna only ask me one question.
What frustrates me with the
not gonna
tip
ask me
thing
that.
though at places like that is because again, I don't mind, or even if I get like a $5 ice cream and then it's like I'll hit the 10% option
Oh, come on.
for what's the math? 50 cents. I'm not stupid, am I?
Yeah.
To tip an extra 50 cents is like literally nothing. Like I have 2 quarters sitting in my fucking glove box in my car I could do
You
instead.
need 2
Like
gobstoppers. What are they?
my jawbreakers, you're so
Yeah.
right.
What are
That's
the
why.
odds that they're more angry at you for tipping 50 cents of like, well, I don't need your pity.
Well, but this is no, but this is my
not a
thing
charity.
where it's like what does frustrate me about that though is the thing of like when I am at like an ice cream place or not a fucking Subway or whatever, just like any place like that you're in and out.
The creamery?
When they flip the thing around and it is the options of like 10, 18, 20, where I'm like, okay, I don't have a problem hitting the 10% and like throwing you $1. No real problem with that. To me, it should just purely be like they should just flip the screen and it should be like tip $1, yes or no. And that should just be like what it is kind of
You
thing.
know what I do
But
like?
when it's like the 20% thing, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not tipping you like a fifth of what I just paid you for a fucking slice of pizza. That's a little ridiculous.
I think-
Wait, but sorry, I just no, you go first.
I think I don't mind it. Well, I was gonna switch topics, kind of not topics, but I was gonna switch directions. So you can go ahead.
Okay. All I was gonna say was, if I don't understand what your principle is now, because at first I thought it was the amount, which is like, oh, you have no problem throwing $1. To like 20% would presumably be $2 if it's 10 to 20%. But now you're saying it's a matter of proportion.
The proportion factors into it a little. What I'm saying is I don't feel obligated to tip at all when I go to get like a boba. Okay. So to me, it's like I don't feel any obligation to do this at all. I don't think I have to do this at all. But I don't mind kicking in $1, so I'm going to do the bare minimum is my point. And to me, it's just a little weird to be like, hey, we're just like handing you a boba. Give us like the most tip percent possible.
Why is 10% the bare minimum?
Because that's usually just what it is on the machines. I've never seen a machine go lower than 10%.
Like you would go the low.
I'm just saying like
so if it was the lowest thing was 20, you would go 20. You're saying hypothetically. But
then that depends on like the price and what I'm getting and all that shit. Because 20% is proportionally across things like a good tip. 10% is technically like a weaker. If you gave 10% at like fucking Barbarians, they'd be like, "What are you doing?" kind of thing. But like 10% again to be the bare minimum at like a coffee shop is kind of like, what more do you really expect from me? Like as a business, like I don't. There's no like social kind of encumbrance on me to do this at all. So the fact that I'm kicking in the buck should just be sort of like a, like the old days of the fucking tip jars of just like, oh, I've got like a loony left over, drop it in. And it's like, oh, thanks kind of thing. But it's like, now it's just because it's more the automated thing of what Malcolm's saying. It is flipping it around and being like, do you want to give us a 50%? Fifth of what you just paid for this fucking like sandwich or whatever? And it's like, not really, no.
I was just going to ask where you were going to go with it. So I didn't know if I wanted to make a comment yet or not.
No, I was going to say, I kind of prefer when places do like, do you want to round up to like donate to whatever? Like sometimes like even Firehouse subs will be like, oh, do you want to add an extra 70 cents so you can, so for like our Firehouse donations or fireman donations or whatever, I'd be like, sure. Or if there's like a sick kids thing or whatever it is. To me, I'm like, if I'm at a place where I wouldn't usually tip, I wouldn't normally tip, when they do that, then that's like I'm fine with that. But like I don't want to go to a coffee shop where they just like put it under the thing and then give it to me and I'm tipping, the person who made it, who just took 2 seconds to make it, type thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like it's like when there's a different cause, I feel more naturally inclined to be like, you know what, I'll do that.
Mm-hmm. So I do. I can go if you want.
Wait.
It's coming to
I was gonna talk about tipping experience I experienced in Costa Rica.
Sure.
And like when I compare North America to Central America to Europe, it's like Europe like doesn't really have it. North America's kind of all over the place, and then in Central America, a lot of people Central,
okay.
In Central America, a lot of people rely on tipping because the conversion rate's really bad, and a lot of people usually tip in American money, which is really good for them. And so my dad and my mom were just on tipping on everybody. Like, you grabbed our bags for us and brought it to the room, tip. You served us really good
Egypt
dinner,
does that a lot too, right?
good tip. Like, there was, my dad didn't know, but the people that work at gas stations, they do your gas for you. They're like super nice and whatever. And my dad didn't know that they work on tips. And so my dad drives away, and my abuelo, he goes, they work on tips, right? And he goes, what? No? And he goes, yeah. And my dad just keeps driving. And he goes, I got to go back and give him a tip. And my abuelo's like, no, just leave him. And we get all the way back to his house after like a 25, 30-minute drive from like the inner city. And my dad leaves to go back to that place to find that guy to give him a tip because he felt so bad.
And he fills up again because
It almost seemed like you were describing Egypt one-to-one there down to the gas station. Like, they have the same exact thing of like people are filling up your gas for you.
Or going to the airport. You go to the airport, there's a guy who's like, let me roll your cart for you and let me pack it into your car and whatever.
Yeah.
And then like because when I was younger, I didn't understand what they were. I thought the guy was just being nice, I guess. But my parents would be like, don't accept his help. Don't accept his help.
Yeah,
he wants money afterwards.
Yeah.
Or every time we're in Egypt, there'll be like a guy when you're. Sometimes there'll just be like random homeless people on the street, and you're just parking your car. You're just parking your car in an empty spot, and then some guy will pull up and he'll be like, yeah, like
Oh,
come back a
God.
little bit more, and then my uncle will like roll down the window and be like, he's like, we don't need you, pal. Like we're good. Like I know how to park. Like because they just want to just like. They want to just provide help wherever
Anything
you
for a
don't,
tip?
even when you don't need it, just so you can just so you feel bad and you want to give them
Give them money. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
like
that's
like
funny.
almost, and it's like I've parked like for 50 years. He says, it's like
Yeah, and it's crazy because they like there are places like where it even happens at malls and stuff. Well, if it's like a proper mall, then it won't
Sure.
happen there. But like there are like places where it would happen, and they look so official of like this person's responsible for the parking here. It's like no, they're just
Some
they
guy.
just came out
Just
off the
some
street.
guy,
He
yeah.
bought a valet vest and he's just doing his thing.
He's got a good grift
He
going.
just went to the thrift. He found a red vest and he's like, I'm gonna pull up here and do my thing.
yeah.
Or sometimes, like one time I was sitting with a bunch of family members and stuff, like at this like little coffee table, and some lady came up and was like putting like she had like just a box of tissue, just like tissues, like these little tiny
And
packets,
it's just yeah.
and she had like a bunch of them with her, and she was like giving them to the table, as if they were like free, and so like she's about to put one down, and like my family members like blow up on her. They're like, no, like, we don't want that, we don't want that, we don't want that, and I was like, what's going on? She's like, she expects us to like pay for that. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, okay, because we didn't ask for it. She just walks up and starts like giving it to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's
interesting.
brutal out here.
This
Out there.
this
Brutal.
isn't tipping at all. This is negotiating.
Mm.
I never experienced negotiating in my life because I'd never been to an area in the world where I need to negotiate prices. And so when I went to Italy and I was on the beach with Isabel, this guy was trying to sell us like a blanket for the beach, and he was like 60 euros, and I was like, that's pretty steep.
That's super
like,
steep.
I don't really want that. And Isabel was like, just negotiate. I was like, what do you mean negotiate? He said 60 euros. He's like, 60 euros. She's like, no, it's not. Isabel was like 5. And I was like,
5.
I was like, 5 euros for the blanket? And she's like, yeah, watch. And he goes 50. She goes 5. He goes 40. She goes 5. He goes, okay, 30. She goes 10 tops. She goes, okay. He's like 10.
I don't.
Can I just say,
Yeah.
I fucking hate negotiating, and I think it's the dumbest shit
I
ever.
know.
Can I?
And I went to if it's like some like street market or something, I get it. Like
Yes.
you want to negotiate. I went to the fucking mechanic the other day. Bro, my dad tells me this shit every time. He's like, don't take the first price they give you, like haggle them down. And I'm like, that's not who I am. I don't like that. I don't like that. It makes me feel gross to like fucking try to like get money out of them or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? Last time I went the other day, and the bill was fucking huge, and I was like, I guess I'll give it a shot, right? So he goes, it's gonna be like $480, and I was like, ooh, I was like, can you do 400? He's like, all right. I was like, why don't you fucking offer me 400 the first time? Like, if you could save me $100 or whatever, like, why didn't he just do that? I was like, wait, so it is 400?
Isn't your mechanic like a family friend?
Yes. What? My dad's like I love him. He's a friend of mine, but like don't let him scam you. And I was like, it's so
good
insane
friend
to
of
me.
mine.
The fact that I asked a quick. He wasn't like, I don't know. I was like, can you do 400? He's like, sure. And he just scratched it out and like adjusted the price. And I was
Yeah.
like, what goes into that? Is he just overcharging me and he's like expecting
sure.
me to like? I'm like, what the?
For
Why
sure.
can't we just be fucking straightforward and like give
Yeah.
me like let me pay what I owe you, not like what you think
Yeah.
I should owe you.
Sorry, go.
I was gonna say I hate with a burning passion. Well, I love my family in Egypt, but
I
they
hate my whole family.
they never ever will let me have anything. What do I mean by that? I've gone to Egypt multiple times, obviously, and there are times where I have to negotiate, right? And I'm with my cousins. I'm like so I have a few cousins who are older than me, but when you're the oldest one, you're the one speaking. So
Yeah, but your Arabic isn't going to be as good as
there
their
are
native
times where
Arabic.
I'm the oldest one, I'm speaking, whatever. That's how it is.
But
right?
but I'm the older sometimes. But like I'll let them take it because their vocabulary is more robust than mine in Arabic.
Either
like,
way, they're
also the people are going to take advantage of my clearer accent. You know.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
So I'm in these positions where I have to negotiate. And sometimes I get the price down, and no matter what, you didn't get it down enough. No matter what, you got scammed. This one time we went to the pyramids, right? And they have this thing where you can go in like these mini chariots things. These mini, what was it called?
Like the rickshaws?
It's like a horse, and it's connected to
Horse-drawn carriage.
Chariot.
Carriage.
yeah,
carriage,
carriage,
sure.
like a mini carriages. Thank you.
Horse-drawn carriage. Yeah.
Exactly. Many carriages. And he was offering me a few packages like, okay, we'll take you to these pyramids, then this site, then the Sphinx, and it'll be this price or whatever, right? So I think what we were working with was £350.
which I think
which is dirt cheap
I think-
anyways
I think
in
it's-
Canadian.
I think it's like $30 or 20 something.
It's dirt cheap in Canadian. He was talking about $350 per person, like admission per person kind of thing. And I get him down to like $250. And then after the fact, my cousin, who's a year younger than me, by the way, so to Mark's point, like if she wanted to talk, she could have talked. She goes, bro, like we just grossly overpaid. We could have got it for 50 pounds or whatever. I was like, what are you talking about? Like we got it down to like 250. Why is that not good enough? And then she goes to tell my aunt. She's like, you could have done it for free. I'm like,
What is he volunteering?
I feel like part of the Egyptian like attitude is hyperbolicism. Is that a word? Just being hyperbolic.
Sure.
Of like, no matter what happens, just say the other
blew it.
extreme, and yeah, you blew it.
I
It
think
could have been free. It could have been
honestly-
10 pounds. It's like, what are you
Like,
talking about?
What you're saying kind of reminds me of something that also upsets me, which is when people swear that they could have done something better than you, or that you fucked up. To me, that's the most annoying thing is when someone swears that you got scammed.
Yeah.
Like, let's say I bought something, and it's like, ooh, you paid that much for it? I'm gonna slap you. Dude. It's like I bought it, right? And if it's an expensive thing, like I spent a lot of money on it.
Yeah.
And like, what are you trying to make me feel bad about it now? I own it and it's done. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it was done,
So to
done.
be like, oh, you could have paid $20 cheaper over there. It's like, I don't give a fuck. I own it. I want it. I have it. Like, why are you
Yeah.
trying to make me feel bad about it?
Haggling over shit is just something I just don't really have that dog in me.
Me neither. I just
But
don't-
my dad does, and it's so frustrating. Specifically, it
is it
doesn't-
embarrassing for you to be there?
It is sometimes. Here's the thing: it comes out the most at like Comic-Con and shit, because a lot of the
yeah.
vendors are willing to like negotiate on stuff. But there are a lot of times where I just walk up to a vendor and I see like a book I want or whatever, and it's like, maybe $30, and like they're not charging any tax on it.
And you go,
Like,
sure.
They're just like $30. I'm like, all right, here's your $30, and I have like no problem with it. But then there's other times where like I would ask people like, hey, could you maybe like take $5 off, or like blah 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 blah, or like every once in a while there's a guy my dad knows who like runs a comic store, I think, who is at the Toronto conventions sometimes, and like I haven't actually seen him in maybe like a year or two, but when I would bump into him, especially when I was younger, like I would go, and because he had all the shit I would want, because he had like the trades, which pisses me off when I can't find the fucking trades. But like he would have just like shelves and shelves of trades, and I would grab fucking like 10. And my dad would always say to him, because he knows him, blah blah blah, and whatever. My dad would be like, hey, if he takes all 10 of those, like can you knock the price off, or like a little bit? And then the guy would always be like, pay for 8, take the other 2, and like don't worry about it, kind of thing. So it's like that I don't mind, and even once, and like I'm saying, I'll haggle for some things once in a while too. But there's times where like my dad would do it over shit, and then it would just become this like back and forth with like my dad and the other guy, and I'd just be standing there like, I'll pay it. I don't care. Like, it's not worth doing this whole like song and dance to me. Like, I don't give a shit.
To me,
Just,
I'm on the same page with you, and I think it's one of those things where I don't think it's not worth the energy and the time.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes it's like my dad's one of these guys as well. Very like he'll be on the phone with the person from the fucking phone company, being like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Like, this other place is charging this. Like, why are you guys charging? And then eventually they'll get him down like $2 a month or whatever. And I'm like, was that? I don't think that was worth it. I wouldn't have sat there and argued with this guy for like a long time.
Yeah.
it also
to be
depends
fair-
on what it is.
Okay.
To me, in terms of the like haggling thing, because when I'm at like a comic convention, it's not like I'm buying shit from like Amazon or whatever. Like, it's all comic shops and comic vendors and people like selling their stuff.
Yeah.
And because it's a medium I care about, it's something I'd like to see thriving and going, I'm also happy to like just pay the money, because I'm like, you know what, if it helps this small business here and that small business there, like, I'm happy to help out, kind of thing. When it's like,
Support local.
sure, when it is like a like a market, like a supermarket or some like street vendor thing, or some fucking strange man on the beach trying to like sell shit, then I don't necessarily have as big a problem like saying like, hey, you want 15, like here's 10, kind of thing. Like, I don't have as big a problem with that. But it's more like,
Well, it's more official, is what you're saying.
Well, speaking of strange man,
Sure.
speaking of strange man on the beach, have I told you guys about that guy that sold his perfume in Turkey?
No.
So me and my parents were walking down the street like at night, and some Nosferatu looking guy walked up to us. He's like all hobbled over and shit. And he has like a plastic bag, and he's like, "Oh, like, do you guys want?" I'm exaggerating. He probably looked normal. I think he looked like a normal guy actually. He's probably like a nice guy. No, but he came up and he had like a plastic bag, and he was like, "Oh, do you guys want perfumes or whatever?" Because we were like on the strip where there was a bunch of like scent shops and whatever. and he pulls out like Versace arrows, like that blue, and I love the smell of that one. And there's like a bunch that he just pulled out, and I swear he literally followed me and my mom and my dad walking for like a good 5 minutes straight. It felt like, and he was not taking no for an answer. And then he just kept going back, and eventually my dad was like, "All right." He gave him like whatever it was, and we have it still. So I have these like perfumes that are like completely fake.
See, that would have escalated differently in my family because it would have been my dad and my mom and Michael and I walking, and he would have been like, "Hey, you want this shit or whatever?" And we'd been like, "No, we're good." And then he would have kept following us, and it wouldn't have gotten to the 5-minute mark before my dad like started just screaming at this guy like, "You need to get the fuck away from me and my family, or I'm gonna like
Call the
knock you
cops."
on your ass," type of shit. So that would have escalated a lot more Sicilian, let's say, in my family. But yeah, I don't know. The haggling's a whole thing.
I think the whole like negotiating thing too is like almost of like a different era in a sense, because I'm thinking back to a time that happened recently. I hate to bring us back to Egypt, but we're taking a road trip in Egypt, right? It's my cousin driving, my grandpa in the front seat, and then I'm in the back with someone else.
So this wasn't the time when somebody in your family got shot in a car.
No.
Okay.
So an issue happens.
They lived. I just want you feel like
Shot in the
if
chest.
we're laughing about that. I feel like we need to add they lived. They're fine.
An issue happened with the car, right? And we had to stop and go to a mechanic to get it fixed, right?
Mekaniki, as they would call it.
Mekaniki. So
I swear to God, that's what they call it.
So in Egypt, and I'm saying this is an older thing because I feel like in Egypt back then, in my grandpa's day, a lot of things were mom and pop and like not company owned. But now a lot of things in Cairo, especially, are like these big,
more Western,
like,
right?
Yeah, it's like more Western, like these big companies. You can't haggle with these big companies. So he's still living in whatever his perception of Egypt is. So they do the job. These poor guys, like it's hot, it's like burning hot out. They're doing the job. They finish and they go, all right, so it's going to be like, for the sake of the story, 1,500 pounds. My grandpa starts freaking out. He's like, what did you just say to me? He's like, 1,500 pounds, sir. That's what it costs. Like, you can like, look here. We have like everything, all the prices listed out and everything. And he starts going ballistic. He goes, you guys are thieves. You guys are trying to rob me. This is how much you're going to take. And he wouldn't let it go. And I go, Grandpa, like, relax. Like, they're just being calm. Like, you don't need to yell like this. And the only time in his life where he like swore in my direction, he was like, you shut the fuck up. I'm talking. He's like, I'm talking right now. These are thieves and I'm going to deal with them how I know how to deal with them. And then it got to the point where my cousin got out of the car. My grandpa paid them whatever he thought they deserved on his like arbitrary, like, I guess, sense of what they deserved. And my cousin pulls them aside and he takes out a wad of cash. He goes, listen, this is just tell him that he got the price he wanted. Here's the rest of the money. We're going to be on our way now. So he just wouldn't. It was so uncomfortable. I'm telling you, the argument went on for at least 10 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I've never had like seen the argument thing play out with my dad or whatever. But the other thing that came in my head too is like buying cars. My dad is also like very 30 fucking years ago where you could walk onto a lot and if the car was like, here's the car for $10,000 and you could maybe walk out of it. You could maybe walk out of it for like 8,500 or something like blah, 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 or like maybe 9 and like no tax or like whatever the fuck it was. And my dad's still like that now. And I feel like a lot of car dealerships don't necessarily do a lot of that shit.
If it's a used car thing, maybe.
As much. Cause I don't know if it was my car. I don't know if it was when him and I went to get my car. I don't think it would have been my brother's because I think he just did that all on his own, and that was around like during all the COVID shit. So I think it was when him and I went to go get my Mazda, and I forget if it was like Mississauga or where the fuck we were getting my Mazda, and like the guy there who was like helping us was like showing us around and like this, that, and the other thing, and like we finally settled on like the blue one that I have now, whatever, and. My dad was like, okay, so like, and the guy was like, whatever the fuck the car was. My dad's like, okay, like, well, what's the best you can do? And blah, 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 blah. And, they're kind of like going back and forth a bit, like talking, whatever, and blah, blah. And then they kind of finally like reach like an agreed price. And I'm like, okay, thank fuck. We can get the hell out of here. And then we go to like get it. And my dad's filling out all the paperwork and whatever. And then he's like, well, wait a second. This is like, I might be overblowing this here, but just for the sake of argument, he's like, this is like $1,000 more
Then we agree.
than what we just fucking
Yeah.
agreed upon.
And he's just gaslighting.
And then the
no.
guy's like, "Oh well, there's like this other like fee, whatever the fuck the excuse was." And then my dad just like started like, it was one of those moments where I'm like, here we go. Where like he just like started getting like
agitated.
This guy of like, so you basically just told me what I wanted to hear so that you get me in the door. You're doing the paperwork, and would think that because I'm already here and because I'm already doing the paperwork, I'll just say, fuck it, whatever. And my dad's like, no, blah 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 blah. And the guy was finally like kind of arguing with my dad, and then finally was like, okay. And he does the whole, let me go talk to my manager and see what like the best price we can take is. And then he came back, and then like sure enough, it was like a slight like maybe $100 less than what they had agreed upon earlier as like a
Good faith,
apology basically for like trying to fucking do way more than they had agreed upon. So that was the only time I remember seeing it get, because like at a convention, my dad, the most it's ever gotten is the guy will be like, nah, like I can't take less than $50. And my dad will be like, he'll look at me and just be like, I tried, like it's $50 if you want it. But like that was the one time where it was like starting to go down that road of like, this is gonna get real ugly real fast if these fucking people don't give my dad what he wants.
Back to tipping.
Anyways, tipping. We'll wrap this up because
I was gonna introduce a whole.
Oh, please go.
So I think I remember our conversation.
I remember some of it.
I remember some of it, and I think part of the issue was the origins of tipping, and the idea that
this is familiar.
People who were servers weren't getting paid minimum wage, and
Isn't that still
minimum
the case?
wages and minimum. Sorry,
Isn't that still the case? It's like a server wage that's lower than minimum wage.
well, I don't have my facts straight, but I don't think that is the case.
I think it is the case.
It might be the case.
I think
My
that
understanding is
server-
that it's not the case.
I believe that is the case.
I think servers.
Oh, okay.
I think servers make less than minimum wage. Too.
Okay.
Not by an insane margin, but like by a decent chunk. And then the tips. Typically, the tips like will push them to be making more than someone who's working minimum wage.
Yeah.
So the minimum wage does, like the tips do a lot for them in terms of their overall pay.
Yeah. So that's what I remember being the crux of the issue of like, are they making less than minimum wage? And then the question is, if that's the reason why we're tipping, then if the government bumps them up to minimum wage, how would you feel about tipping after that?
Right. This is vaguely familiar to me.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. It kind of goes to what Malcolm was saying about like Costa Rica and Central America, where my thing is, has tipping culture, let's say, run amok here in, Canada and
I'd say so.
the old US of A? Absolutely. Because the fact that it is now like basically anywhere you go, practically, it feels like they're flipping the fucking iPad around on you of like, tip this and tip that. And to me, it's like when you're at the hotel, if a guy helps you with your bags, you tip him. When Varsh and I had the hotel in Niagara, and like when my parents and I go away, whatever, it's like whenever we're done and we're checking out of the hotel, we always leave money in the like hotel desk for, the cleaning staff, whatever. Restaurants, obviously, you're tipping. When I go get my hair cut, I tip the lady for fucking...
And you give her the tip.
And I give her the tip. Mark went for the high five there. Oh, I thought Malcolm was going to leave him hanging. Matt, cut to that. So that was like a predator type of shit right there. That was powerful.
What the?
So so it's like all these different things where it's like the common knowledge or the common consensus or the societal norm is yes, you tip, great. Has it run a little amok though? Absolutely. My thing though is to what Malcolm was saying about like the Central American thing where it's like people who don't tip or don't tip well or all this shit frustrate me. And I think what we were talking about is to me this idea that it's like, yeah, the reason tipping culture exists here and not in other places is because they take care of their fucking people in other places. So to me, it's like, this was my kind of thing that I was saying to Patrick, where it's like, if people want tipping to just go away altogether, then it's like, then we should all kind of collectively be like, all right, then like, let's make sure these people are getting what they need. And to me, the answer isn't the minimum wage unless you're going to bump up the minimum wage. Because you and I make minimum wage, sometimes more than that, depending on...
We don't make minimum wage. We make
Minimum wage
more
is
than
way
minimum
less.
wage.
What's minimum wage right now?
16.75.
17.
Isn't that like what our starting
17 is the minimum
rate
wage.
is for one of the things?
I'm sure it's probably like
Got bumped
19 or
up.
19 or
It all
20.
got bumped up.
I guess that's true.
I think
we did get bumped up
minimum right
recently.
now is 17 or 17 something.
Even if we're higher than that, you know very well doing the same job as me.
Yeah.
If we were doing like 40, 50 hours a week at the money we're making, that's not enough.
To live on your
This,
own.
to live on.
But this speaks to a way deeper issue to me, because the minimum wage set by the government is what they claim is a living wage.
It's
Sure.
not
It's
true
straight
at
up
all.
lie.
Yeah.
So my point is, if it's really not a living wage, then the culture should be rampant of like we should be tipping everyone then, because I guess everyone's not able to
Well,
live.
and that's what it's turned into in a lot of ways. That's
Yeah.
why I think tipping culture has kind of gone a little nuts, because it's like,
People are struggling.
hey, do you want to buy a house now? Fuck you. Like, do you want to rent an apartment even? Go kill yourself.
Literally,
Like, you can't do any of this
Can we
shit.
do the
So
math?
it's like,
What?
Can we do the math? Can we look up what the Ontario government or Canadian government says is a livable wage in Canada? Like it's like
Yeah.
what, like 37 or something?
But
or-
but Patrick's saying that the minimum wage is what that's their claim to what's the like the.
I know, but I want to see what the overall
See, what's
number
minimum
is,
wage?
and then I want
Oh,
to
like
see
what
like
the yearly
and I want to do
salary
the
is?
math of like the minimum wage put together with hours.
rates, living wage. I don't know.
Where,
this
where
is
are we? What are
saying-
we? Southwest?
Yeah, we're like Southwest
So
Ontario.
it
So this is
claims
saying,
18.15 is the livable
18.15.
wage, which is more than minimum wage. It's like $1 more.
a little more than
Yeah, which would be more than what it is right now. But it's like, that's the thing where it's like, that's my thing with tipping, where I get frustrated with people that are like, oh, I never tip, or I don't like tipping, or this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, well, the problem isn't like the restaurant or the waiter
Yeah.
or like the barber who's asking for a tip. Like, they're not the fucking problem. The problem is that like the wage isn't high enough, or like the business doesn't pay them as much as they could or should, kind of thing. So it's like all these other fucking problems that like
so Matthew, if the wage was brought up to
15.
whatever the living wage is that then, which is I think still less than what we make,
Sure.
then
Flex on them, baby.
I mean, I feel like it's also about
would
like
you
if
still
you're
want
doing
to
an
tip?
outstanding job, like if you're doing a really
Well,
good job,
this
I
is the
think
other
you
thing.
deserve.
I don't think a
little
tip
more
is
money.
like owed or guaranteed or anything like that.
It's earned.
I think a tip is earned, which is why, again, I get from the principal perspective of like when I go to a boba place to get a boba, do I have any sort of like obligation or anything to like pay this person an extra few bucks? No. To me, it's like I was saying, it's not the principal thing. It's more the like literal financial reality of like, yes, to tip this person 90 cents, $1.10, like isn't
I feel like,
financially ruining me at all. So like, sure, add it on.
don't you
kind
feel
of
like it
thing.
shouldn't it be like a feeling thing of like if you feel like the person deserves it, you do it. I think most people are. I like to believe that most people have a lot of good in them, and if someone like puts in the hard work to like help them out, most people will just feel like they want to reciprocate naturally. So
Sure.
I feel like most of the time when
I agree.
Malcolm's saying like if they're doing an outstanding job, it's like you feel that, and unless you're an asshole, you'll feel that they did great for you, so you want to do something for
Yeah.
them.
To me, it's like outstanding job or like you did something nice. Like for
Yeah.
example,
You didn't have to do that.
I was at Square One. I guess you cut that. I was at the mall a couple weeks ago. I went to a place called Village Juicery to get some like a smoothie and whatever and a snack. And the guy was kind of just like, whatever, like brush off the shoulder, whatever. Here's your thing. Yeah, no problem. Have a good day.
Yeah.
I didn't. He turned it over. 0% tip. Nothing. And then I go back and like a week later, I get another smoothie and I get a sandwich. Except the girl's like, she's being really nice and she's like, there's like 4 or 5.
That's because she wanted you.
There were like 4 or 5 sandwiches in the thing, and like I was already thinking about it beforehand. I was like, I really hope she like picks a big one for me because they're all cut differently. And she goes, which one do you want? And I was like, really? She goes, yeah. I'm like, the biggest one. She goes, okay. I'm like, tip.
There you go. Also, I'm leaving Square One, and it's okay. It's a big place. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't necessarily disagree with anything what you guys are saying. To me, it was always just the frustration of like, listen, look, if you want tipping culture to go away, then it's like the solution is not tipping and not the people who like are getting the tips. Like they're not the target. The
government.
target is like go after, when the government's looking into like Loblaws and all these other fucking grocery store chains for like colluding to like all raise their prices together. It's like those are the evil motherfuckers that you should be looking at. Like it's not the barista at Starbucks' fault.
May I ask you to answer my question now?
Please.
So you were trying to appeal to me by saying our wage.
Sure.
But now, according to this website, I'm not saying this is the objective truth. I'm just saying this is what Canada has determined. If that was the wage, that's minimum, and those waiters and waitresses got it, then how would you feel about tipping in that scenario?
If that minimum wage was enough to like offset the tipping and actually be a livable wage and not like this is probably enough.
Yeah.
To me, it's like if the math checked out where you could eliminate tipping and it didn't change anything because people were now being paid enough to be able to just do what they need to do, then I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. So if that 18, whatever the fuck number is, if that's the number where the equation adds up, then I'm like, all right, sure.
See, okay, that's interesting. Well, in my mind, it's like, even if that number does add up, I guess it's just a consequence of habit now. I feel like I wouldn't let go of tipping that easily.
Of course, no one would.
It would definitely take a while, but I feel like it would take a couple generations probably, because like we would probably be telling our kids like, oh, make sure you tip the fucking waiter at the restaurant or tip the lady at the barbershop or whatever. And then like, but they might be like, our parents still tip, but like nobody does that anymore because everybody's being paid well enough. It's fine. And maybe they do it sometimes and maybe they don't, kind of thing. And then they would tell their kids, like, probably wouldn't even say anything about it. Like, eventually you would probably weed it out a little more, or it would become just like less of a habit. I also think for a lot of people, it would be an easy habit to drop of like, oh, less money I have to pay for shit. Like, awesome kind of thing.
Yeah. But in the end of the day, I think I tend to agree. Like, even if that's their number of what's livable, in this state we're in now, that's BS. Yeah. Like, it's not about, and I don't even think it's about raising the wage. Because you can only.
That's not the only solution.
There's no, I guess, limit
ceiling
to like how much you should raise. Like, you could raise the wage. Sure. It's more of a thing of like, get the economy straight so that inflation goes down. Yeah. And prices go down.
Yes.
In my opinion, taxes. I would also say taxes, but that's a whole other issue. That could be another way of doing it. There's like all these other avenues.
Yeah,
of like
well, that's
trying
what I'm
to
saying.
Get the market
where it's
straight.
like it's not just the wage thing. It's like I'm saying with the fucking evil assholes that run the grocery chains and shit. Where it's like it's not that bumping the wage up way more is like the solution. It's just like part of the puzzle of like, yes, bump the wage up. Yes, stop letting these fucking evil ass corporations charge way more for groceries. Get the fucking housing shit under control and stop letting like foreign interests come in and just buy up all this property and then like just own it perpetually to keep like everybody renting for the rest of their fucking lives. Like, there's all these different boxes that should sort of be checked in addition to the wage thing. Yeah. And to me, that's what I'm saying, where it's like, if you can make the equation make sense, that it's like the people that are doing these more like, you know, part-time jobs and like this other shit where they're like just trying to fucking put themselves through like college or whatever, or like, you know, support a family and all this shit, then it's like, if the math works out, I'll never fucking tip again. And I won't like feel weird about it. Maybe in like the extraordinary circumstances where, you know, I get the steak in a blowy or something, like
Patrick,
can you
the tip or whatever.
I don't know if we want to wrap up the. I was gonna say, Patrick, you should make a clip of Matty just saying, "I'm never gonna tip again." That's the clip.
The last thing I do want to comment on is the last thing to consider is, okay, how do we define livable wage? Because you just brought up a thing of like, oh, bringing my kids through college.
The way I define it is like, if you're able to just survive without like parental support. Yeah. Like, if you're able to just, and not in like a nice house, and that's like all subjective. Like, it's just like you're able to live in an apartment by yourself in a single bedroom.
I would tend to agree. So I would exclude the whole idea of like being able to like
put your kids through
college. In
my
mind,
no, I'm not saying your kids or anything. I'm saying like you personally. If you're like some
yourself through
18, 19-year-old dickhead just trying to get through school, like that should be a much easier process. Yeah. Working a part-time. To me, I know it's obviously like so far gone and such a foreign concept, but it's like the point people make where it's like being a milkman in the 50s as like a father and a husband was enough to like pay for your house, keep your wife at home, so that she didn't have to work, put 2 kids through school. Like that was enough for, and I know obviously we're so far gone.
How is that even ever possible?
Well, this is what happens when, you know, we continually get fucked in the ass by the way everything works.
Like, there's always memes about it of like, oh, like when I was your age, I worked like part-time as a waiter and I was able to make enough to fucking buy my first house. Like, what?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, where it's like
part-time.
And I understand that things change, but yeah, to Mark's point, it's like, listen, if it was like you and a girlfriend, let's say, and you were working the job we are right now, and your girlfriend was like a barista or waiting tables or whatever the fuck. Yeah. To me, it's like, I'm not saying the two of you should be able to necessarily go out and buy a house and like raise a kid,
have the world
on that wage, but at the very least, you two should be able to like own a condo
This is
or
my
rent a
perception.
condo
Get
and like
groceries and
get
whatever.
groceries
Exactly.
and have a couple cars to like go to work and all this shit.
I
Like
agree
you
with
should
you.
be able to like hit some sort of like baseline.
I agree with you, and my perception is that you should be able to hit some sort of baseline, and it be a jumping off point. Like we should like have it so people can live. You're right, but people as individuals should aspire to have more and to get more.
Sure.
And that the onus is on them at that point, though, is what I would say.
Sure.
Yeah, but
But yeah.
It's hard to even get to that point.
I know.
Hard
yeah.
to, well, now in these days, yeah, you're right.
Dude, it's
hard to get to that
like
point.
I work like maybe 20, 25 hours during the school time,
Yeah,
and then in the summertime I work full time, like close to 40.
yeah.
And like I'm living with my parents, and I'm like, I'm not like I'm fine with my parents, but if I wasn't with my parents, I'd be completely screwed, even though I'm working like a good chunk of hours.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, things are fucking crazy right now.
Even I work an extremely good chunk of hours, and if I didn't live with my parents, I couldn't live
On your own
anywhere. Like an apartment's like sometimes what
30 years ago we could have.
upwards
Yeah.
to like $2,000 a month. And you got to pay all your insurance, and then you got to buy food. And
It
you
would
gotta
be
get
like
Exactly,
you have
work.
like
but
50
not
bucks
now.
left at the
Yeah,
end.
it's
Well,
like-
even like in my case with our job, I'm at the point now where like Patrick and I's job is just starting to just become more headache than it's worth, even though I like a lot of the people there and I like doing the job. It's just like everything kind of surrounding is becoming more headache than
That's
it's worth.
basically saying no, you don't.
I don't like doing the job again.
But and so it's getting to the point now where I am like sort of, and I obviously should have had this like way longer ago, but like I am starting to get that kind of like fire under my ass of like I need to like get an actual job and like get into my field and do it
Those fucking
and
a-
hope maybe that like, you know, maybe I can do the comic thing too, and maybe
Yeah.
that pans out and is like at the very least maybe like a small second source of income.
Even if you-
best case scenario, it blows up and I'm actually making like
even if you
good
fucking
money.
even if you make less in this like introductory job, whatever it is, than you're making at the pool, like that's fucking way better. 'Cause
Yes,
at
it's
least
just-
it's like, you know, getting the portfolio going.
Exactly. I just need to get in because like even Varsh and I have like talked and whatever, and she's like sort of like, because Varsh kind of is. If Varsh could, she would move out like tomorrow probably, and like her and I have like kind of had the conversations of like, oh, like if you know we're getting to our mid-20s, like eventually at some point, you know, we'll probably move in together and like move out of our houses and get a place or whatever. But like I'm so anti-renting shit, whereas I know
Yeah.
she's more for it. I'm so against it that I'm like, I just don't want to do it. And I'm like, and right now, like she makes for sure more money than I do right now.
But the
I'm like,
pro-
I don't even know if you and I combined could even like do that sustainably.
But my question
right now.
But my question is, you're saying if you hate renting, it's like at this rate, like when if you're gonna buy, are you talking about like buying an apartment or something?
I personally,
Because even that, like that's nowhere.
that's gonna be a shitload of money. But
Yeah.
I personally would rather like buy and own my own condo, like her and I,
Yeah.
that we could live in for, let's say, 5 years,
well, you
for
save up and
example.
stuff, yeah.
Keep saving up money, and then at the end of the 5 years, when we're ready to move out, make some money back, hopefully, on the condo, and then, you know, hopefully put it towards like a down payment on a house or something. Because to me, I don't want it to sound like a judgment of any kind, because I know people like have to rent and are in situations where they need to and all that shit. So it's not like a judgment call or anything. It's just personally, I'm not in a place, and I've never been in a place where I've like had to rent or needed to rent, and I don't want to like be in that spot ever, just because the entire thing frustrates me so much of like you piss all this money away and you have like no return
Yeah.
on investment on like anything kind of thing. I'm honestly at the point where like this is kind of inside baseball, and I don't even know if Varsh would want to do. I don't even know if I would want to do it. But like my cousin, for example, who's our age, him and his girlfriend are moving in. I mean, my cousin obviously lives at my aunt and uncle's house, but they've like totally just finished their basement because they had like an unfinished basement. They're in the middle of like finishing their basement right now, and him and her are just gonna move in,
To the family
To the
house,
basement.
Mm.
and so they're gonna live at my aunt and uncle's house, just in the finished basement
Like, help
now.
pay for
So they'll
bills and
have
whatever.
like, you know, a kitchen and their own
Mm.
bedroom and bathroom and, you know, living room and all this shit down there. And yeah, I'm sure they'll pay rent. My fucking parents have been telling my brother and I for forever that like, you know, my dad's always like, hey, like when I retire in like a year or two, he's like, you're kicking your mom and I like, you know, $200, $300, $400 a month kind of thing, like rent sort of thing.
When they're not job working anymore.
Yeah, he's like, when your mom and I retired kind of thing. He's like, or you can move out and go pay some schmuck, $1,500 a month. He's like, or you can stay at home and like kick your mom and I a few $100 a month and, help out with groceries and all that shit, whatever. And I'm like, I've had that thought of like, and because even my mom said it the other day where I'm like, yeah, it probably would be more worth it for like us to just finish the basement in our house now and Varsh and I just fucking move in there.
What do they feel? How do they feel about that?
I think they'd have no problem with that. Because
But you haven't brought it up to them yet.
my mom was the one who mentioned it to me where she's like, if you ever wanted to do something like your cousin's doing, like, we could maybe look into that. And because my parents aren't like, they're not old school in that sense of like, they want my brother and I like out of the house. Like they're very much like, stay fucking as long as you want. Like as long as you're working and doing shit, whatever, and blah, blah, blah. Like, stay as long as you want and do whatever you want kind of thing. Like we don't care. And that's why I think about it where I'm like, I would rather do that because that would make way more like financial sense for Varsh and I, for example, than like, yeah, we're going to go pay some asshole in Oakville or Toronto or whatever, $2,000 a month for rent just for them to be, be a shit landlord and not take care of anything. Or, the shit you see on the news of like, oh, we're upping the prices, or like, oh, we need to evict you for this so that we can up the prices and then bring new people in and whatever. It's like, it's just so much fucking headache and hassle that it's like, I don't want to deal with any of this shit.
Yeah.
Fuck the renting. Fuck car insurance. I'll say it again.
Yeah, I mean,
Tipping, yeah, it's okay.
shit's hard out here.
Anyways.
I think that's a
Episode.
The episode. That doesn't mean episode.
We're done.
It's slipped out.
No, we'll wrap it up here. But anyways, so yeah, tipping, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Maybe it changes. Maybe it doesn't. And yeah,
cool.
Moving on.
All right, so I want to do this blind ranking activity. And I've seen people do it everywhere online, and it's really fun. So I want to do that, and let's see how it goes. So, okay, we're all set?
Yeah.
Okay, blind rankings. Here we go.
Here we go.
Tarantino movies. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Wow, hard in the paint right off the bat.
You're gonna put it 1 to 5.
Oh.
One being your favorite. No,
is.
one being the best Tarantino movie, 5 being your least favorite.
And I'm not allowed to adjust.
No.
Matty, did you like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I really did.
You really did? Because I never got the sense that it was one of your favorites.
So go ahead and put it in your ranking 1 to 5.
Did.
You can put an O because none of them start with an O.
Honestly,
I just put OUATIH.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot the A, but yeah, that's why I did.
Okay, next. Hateful Eight. Where are you going to put Hateful Eight?
Oh, wait. Fuck, I'm already... Okay, wait.
You can't change
but
it.
I forgot one existed.
You can't change.
I forgot one
But
existed.
that's the beauty of the game is that, you might have a list that you completely disagree with. Cause
God
you didn't know
damn
what's coming
it.
next. That actually look kind of dope on you.
These?
Yeah.
I was going to say, Malcolm, you got some...
ASAP
like
for...
You're like an influencer.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. I saw it written.
God damn it. I forgot fucking Django existed.
I also forgot that.
Idiot.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I'm ready.
Next. Let's do Django. Let's do Django Unchained.
Well, I'm angry at where this is because it would be number
I feel
one.
like our lists are going to look kind of similar.
Maybe.
I don't know that they are.
Okay, next.
Wait, I didn't choose.
Django
There's
should
so
be
many
number
good
one
ones.
for the record. Django should be number one for the record.
I'm gonna go. Can you not bias me? Because now I'm thinking, wait, maybe I should put Django number 1.
Do
What
it.
the
hell?
Do what's in your heart. Do what's in your heart.
I don't know what's in my heart.
Well, I know what's in mine. Hatred.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, next. Pulp Fiction.
Oh, damn it.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
And lastly, Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
I thought you were going to say like Reservoir Dogs, so I'd have like a solid 5.
Yeah, that's what I was prepared
I wanted to
for,
make it
too.
tough.
You guys
Okay.
suck.
Okay.
Reservoir Dogs
I want to go through Malcolm's first.
Relatively
Malcolm,
speaking, though.
All right.
Malcolm, what do you got? He's got
Number 1, I got Hateful Eight.
Okay.
Number 2, I got Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
3, I've got Django, which I wish was higher on the list. Now I would have switched Once Upon a Time.
With Django.
And then 4 at Pulp and Inglourious Bastards at 5.
Okay, cool. All right,
Matt?
Matty, what do you got?
I have Django should have been number 1, but I have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood at 1, Django at 2, Pulp Fiction at 3, Inglourious Bastards at 4, and Hateful Eight at 5.
Complete switch up.
Wow.
Hateful Eight there.
Yeah, right?
So I went the same route with Malcolm of hearing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, putting it at 2 just to hedge my bets. So I have That at 2. Should I start? Sorry, I should start.
Go from 1.
Yeah, sorry about that. So I have Django Unchained at 1.
Mm.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood 2. 3 Hateful Eight. 4 Pulp Fiction. 5 which I regret.
Inglourious Bastards. Where would you have put Inglourious Bastards?
I would have put Inglourious Bastards.
4?
Honestly, I would have probably put it 1 and then Django.
Really?
Django, I would have put 3, then Hateful Eight 4.
So Inglourious Bastards is your favorite?
I would probably have
It's
put
amazing.
I love Inglourious
Honestly,
Bastards
so
so
good.
much.
I'm happy with it at 5.
Sweet. Okay.
You're happy with it at 5?
Yeah.
With all these other movies, you'd put
Yeah.
it lower than
It's
all
my-
these
it's
other
my least
movies.
favorite out of all these.
You're misremembering.
All right.
You're grossly misremembering.
So I want
the movie,
you guys to
think.
just erase the Tarantino. Next, we're gonna do fast food.
Okay.
I remember the movie very well, actually.
You what?
I remember the movie very
Oh,
well.
okay.
Very well.
Very well.
Just trying to rub it in.
Hateful Eight's just so good.
Amazing.
Who's the actor that plays the Nazi officer at the beginning?
Christoph Waltz.
That guy's
He's
crazy,
amazing.
bro.
Awesome.
That guy's crazy.
Thank you, Mr. Waltz.
Okay.
Wasn't he also that guy in Django?
Yes.
Non-racist guy in Django?
Oh, what? What are you talking about?
The dentist dude.
He was
Or
doc-
the-
he was-
Oh, yeah. King Schultz.
King Schultz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a beast.
Fast food restaurants. Ready?
Yeah. It could be anything.
Could be any.
Okay.
Wendy's.
Ah!
You son of a.
Where are we putting Wendy's? And I recognize that not everyone is going to be able to necessarily speak to, because I know Matty has never really eaten Wendy's. But next,
Couple things, but nothing.
Taco Bell.
Hmm.
Really, Matt. Okay.
Chick-fil-A.
Mm. I don't even know how to spell this. I think I spelled it wrong.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
Matty, no. last up, A&W.
Fuck!
Oh, yeah.
No!
No.
Boy, I really fucked that up.
I think all of you have A&W. Okay, Patrick, go ahead. You start this time.
A&W 1. McDonald's 2.
What?
Wendy's 3. Chick-fil-A 4. Taco Bell 5.
Wow, Chick-fil-A was low on the list
Yeah.
there. Okay, Matty.
I fucked up. A&W 1
Never tried it.
would have been way lower. McDonald's 2, Taco Bell 3, Wendy's 4, and Chick-fil-A 5.
Wow.
I've got
Wow.
NW1, Wendy's 2.
All you guys were saving number 1 like it's gonna be some crazy shit.
I had a feeling A&W was going to be number 1, so I just kept
Okay.
it. 3 Taco Bell, 4 Chick-fil-A, and 5 Mickey D's.
Wow.
5 Mickey D's.
Out of all of
Interesting.
those, is by far the worst.
Really?
By
Worse
far.
than Taco Bell?
I like Taco Bell. It's actually pretty good.
Tacos.
I like Taco Bell.
You're a man who is in with the girl at La
I
Carnita.
am in.
Or
at
sorry,
the,
to
at
Viva
the
La
place in
Tortilla.
town. Yes,
You're
this is
in.
true. Yeah.
And you have the balls to put Taco Bell where you put it.
If that place in town was on this list, it would have been far and away number 1 because it's better than every Taco Bell on earth combined.
Of course it
Okay,
is.
next we're gonna do video games.
Vidya McGinnis.
Now here's the thing. I planned this kind of for a single person, so I think all of you guys have played most of, if not all of these games. But let's see
Okay,
how it
just
goes.
pull one out of your ass.
Do it.
Okay. God of War, 2018.
18.
Patrick's never played it.
wow.
I'll roll the dice.
Okay.
I've been doing the same tactic every game. I hope this works.
BioShock.
I knew I made a good
See, I don't know
call
if all of you
saving
have played
one.
it.
I have not played Bioshock,
Hmm.
so I'm just gonna
Made
play
it made a
5.
good call saving that top spot, huh, fellas?
Uncharted 4.
Ooh.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ooh.
And lastly, Batman Arkham Knight.
Ah.
All right, we're gonna start with Matty this time. Go ahead, Matty.
I have Bioshock at 1, where it deserves to be. My God, my savior, Bioshock. God of War 2018 at 2, also I have no problems with that. Red Dead 2 at 3, no problems. My 4 and 5 could have gone either way, because I have Uncharted 4 at 4, and then my last spot was 5, so that's where Arkham Knight went. But in my head, it's kind of a coin toss in those two spots, with 4 and 5.
With the way you talk about Red Dead 2, I'd imagine it being higher than God of War.
there's an argument to be made that Red Dead 2 is a better story and like a more compelling game. God of War is infinitely way more fun to play
Sure.
Okay.
from like a gameplay perspective, but God of War also just means more to me because it's like I have the baggage of like
The
playing it
nostalgia.
from playing the like series from the beginning when I was like, you know, way too fucking young
Yeah.
to be playing it kind of thing. So there's like a built-in bias there.
True.
Patrick?
Me? Batman Arkham Knight 1,
Wow.
Red Dead Redemption 2, Uncharted 4 3, Bioshock 4, God of War 2018 5.
Because you never played it, right?
I never played God of War 2018. I've also never played Bioshock
Or
I've also-
Red Dead.
or Red Dead. You'll notice you'll notice that my list started from 5 in order
Wow.
up.
Okay.
So it's just coincidence though, because Batman Arkham Knight I have played and I do love that game.
It's real good.
But I would have just changed Uncharted 4 because I've also played that and put it 2 instead of Red Dead.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Malcolm.
so I have Red Dead 2 at 1.
Mm.
God of War at 2. Uncharted at 3. Batman at 4. And I've never played Bioshock, so it's at 5.
Sadness.
So I'm gonna wrap up this topic by doing. I have one that I made for Malcolm specifically. I'm just curious to see
Cool.
what he's gonna do for that.
Can we do it too?
Yeah, you know, let's all do it.
What if Mark spat at you and said no?
No.
Then I
Yeah,
would just
honestly,
stay
cut
quiet.
that. We're
No,
gonna.
just around.
We're all doing this one. We're gonna do rappers.
Rappers.
Okay.
We're gonna start with Mr.
Rap
Drake.
reference.
We're gonna start with Drake. We're gonna start with Mr. Drake.
That's a really good one to start with. Okay, I like
We're gonna
this.
put Drake on the
Same
list.
tactic. My tactic. For
Wait,
the
I'm still
record is-
racing, by the way,
My
Mark.
tactic for the record is starting at number 2.
Okay.
Hey, that's not really a tactic,
It
right?
is, yeah. Work around him.
Okay.
Just pulling out the straps.
Next, we're gonna go Travis Scott. Okay.
Okay.
Ice Cube. Okay. Next, MF Doom.
Ah.
And lastly, Kendrick Lamar.
Ah,
No!
god damn it. Fuck you.
I have the objectively correct list.
Okay, let's
Fuck
see it.
my goat
All right, we're gonna start with Malcolm this time. Malcolm, who you got?
Damn it.
This isn't how I wanted it to go. Number 1, I have Ice Cube. 2,
Natural.
I have Drake. 3, I have MF Doom. 4, I have Travis Scott, where he should be at 5. And 5, I have.
How would you actually rank this, by the way? Like, how would you fix it?
I would probably move MF Doom to 4, Kendrick to 3, and
Okay.
then Travis Scott to 5.
So you'd keep Ice Cube and Drake 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Matty.
I have Ice Cube at 1, which I don't really have any qualms with. MF Doom at 2, which I'm good with. Travis Scott at 3, too high. Drake at 4, too high. And I fucked this up, so I wound up with Kendrick at 5.
Same with Malcolm.
Kendrick would be arguably 2 on mine, no lower than 3. I will say, at the time of recording, we're in the midst of Drake
I haven't
and
listened to
Kendrick
any of
Lamar beef. Couldn't fucking care less.
Don't give a shit.
But if it gives us good music, I'm all here for it. Also, knowing nothing about the situation, I assume
Team
Drake
Kendrick.
is in the wrong and go Kendrick Lamar because he's a way better fucking rapper.
So my 1 and 2, I'm about to disagree with what Matt just said. My 1 and 2 could be interchanged. I put Kendrick at 1, Drake at 2. I could see Drake being 1. I do love Drake. So Kendrick Lamar 1, Drake 2, Travis 3. I don't know why you're hating on Travis Scott.
He's not a great rapper.
Don't know why you're hating on Travis
I
Scott.
just told you why.
Remember when he said sicko mode?
4 Ice Cube, and then 5 MF Doom.
Well, you don't really listen to.
I don't
MF Doom,
listen
guess.
to MF Doom though.
Okay,
I don't know any MF Doom.
Cringe.
Can we do Star Wars movies?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't have any more, but honestly, I have some more that are just like I have like UFC, which is just for Malcolm, and then I have that's it. But I'm gonna honestly I'm gonna do one off the dome.
Yeah.
Can we crack a window?
Please.
Sure, go for it.
You're closest.
It's getting swampy.
Can we do
but-
Star Wars movies?
We can do that. I want to do.
Sorry,
I want to
another
do.
day.
When we get-
Choose which 5.
I know that's
You-
the issue. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna say. Why don't we do female celebrities?
Okay.
Why don't we rank female celebrities here?
Oh no.
Why don't we do that?
I'm good with that.
I think that'll be interesting.
For all our lady listeners out there.
Okay. First, I'm gonna start off with. You know what? Let's get topical. Sydney Sweeney. Where are we putting Sydney Sweeney on the list?
Damn.
And this is like, this you could take this however you want to take it. You could like who I'm most attracted to, who I just like generally the most.
Best acting.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, honestly, here, I'm gonna change it.
Yeah.
Who you're attracted to the most.
All right.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Narrowed
Okay.
us down.
Yeah. Okay.
Same tactic.
Mom,
Yo, put your feet down, dog.
Mom,
Alright.
I'm sorry.
Put my dog.
Okay.
down.
Don't judge me, Mom.
Next,
Say it.
Megan Fox. And you can say you can think like younger prime.
Wait, actually, not easy. Actually, not easy.
I'm waiting for you to say someone specific.
Okay. Okay. Anna de Armas. that's next. Okay. Dua Lipa. Patrick saved that spot, baby. All right. And lastly, let's go. Scarlett Johansson.
That's exactly right.
I'm
on.
okay with this. I'm really okay with what's
That's
happening.
exactly
Yeah, I'm
right
content
on.
with my
Okay, let's
list.
start with Patrick and go around.
Okay, so my number 1 is Dua Lipa. If there's anyone we should be petitioning to come on the show, it should be Dua Lipa, not Doja Cat. I'm sorry. What are you looking at that for?
I was just about to say fuck you, Doja Cat, and get rid of all
Oh,
of it.
Wow. We no longer offer revoked.
Up there, even if you ask to come on, you're not.
Nope.
Not on.
Dua Lipa 1, Megan
we will
Fox
take
2, Anna de Armas 3, Sydney Sweeney 4, Scarlett Johansson 5.
I'm making a petition that at the end of this episode we act as if Dua Lipa won. Sorry, we act as if Doja Cat wanted to come on, and we had to tell her no.
Okay,
I can get down.
sure.
All right,
You
Matty?
just lead the way, I guess.
I have the objective true list here. Starting from the bottom.
Sure.
Dua Lipa at 5.
Wow.
You dirty scumbag! No! You're not continuing this list. No, hold on.
At
Dirty
4.
scumbag.
Hold on, stop. You did that just to spite me.
No, I did not. I did the
You
list.
think Dua Lipa is the bottom of all of those?
Of these 5, probably yes.
That's crazy.
Wow.
You're a dirty scumbag human
So
being.
Dua Lipa 5.
We're not friends anymore.
ScarJo 4. Sid Sweeney 3. Megan Fox 2. Megan Fox arguably could have maybe shuffled around somewhere else. And Anna de Armas 1. I mean, get the fuck out of here.
All right.
Objective list.
Number 1, I have Dua Lipa.
Mhm.
Number 2, I have Sydney Sweeney.
Mhm.
What do you want from me?
She's above Megan Fox.
In my opinion.
Sydney Sweeney's above
In
Megan
my
Fox.
opinion,
Wow.
yes.
That comes
Number
from-
3, I have Anna. Number 4, I have Meg F. And number 5, I have Scarlett.
Sydney Sweeney's above. I think we can both agree that his placement of Sydney Sweeney is.
Where did you ever?
Get her
Number
2.
Oh, I had 3.
Okay.
Oh, it's not that far.
I had her 4.
So the next thing I want to do here, give me 1 second. We can cut this part out. I want to just do one more.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay. Last thing we're gonna do, sci-fi franchise.
Okay.
Okay.
This is good.
So we can just put it as sci-fi.
Here we go.
Okay.
It's nice dead air.
Starting off with the Alien franchise. You can take that as just a. You can take that. You can take it as the whole franchise, or you can take it as just the first movie or first couple of movies. Okay.
This is a toughie.
Next, Planet of the Ape franchise.
Ooh.
Okay. Next, let's do Star Wars. Star Wars franchise.
You're a blasphemer. Just want you to know that.
Next, Blade Runner.
Never seen it. Automatic 5.
Blade Runner or
We
Blade
watched
Runner
it together.
2049.
We watched it together. It was on the wheel.
I wasn't there.
I guess
Was it
so.
on? It wasn't on the wheel
don't
then
know.
because he wasn't there.
So there's space for one more.
I don't think Blade Runner's actually been on the wheel yet.
Here's the thing. I want to say Dune, but I know most of us haven't seen it. So I'm gonna say
Star Trek.
let's
Actually, don't say
do
Star Trek. Please God, don't say Star Trek.
the Terminator franchise.
Perfect.
Damn it.
Perfect. Haven't seen it.
Okay, let's start with Matty.
Damn it.
Matty, you're a big sci-fi guy. What do you got?
My list is pretty much the way I'd like it, although I would switch my 4 and 5. Starting at the bottom here, we have Terminator at 5. I would have put it at 4. maybe 3, but probably 4 instead. Planet of the Apes at 4. Out of all these, would have been dead last. Alien at 3. Star Wars at 2, which is what I wrote, missing the S. And Blade Runner at numero uno.
Love it. All right, Malcolm.
I have Star Wars at 1,
Mm-hmm.
Alien at 2, Planet of the Apes at 3, and then the 2 I have.
Would you change anything about your list?
I could go between 2 and 3 for Planet
Planet of the Apes.
and Alien.
Okay, cool. Patrick.
I have Star Wars, Terminator, Planet of the Apes, Alien, Blade Runner. The only thing I would change would be Planet of the Apes 2, Terminator 3.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know how entertaining this was, but I had a good time
I
with it.
liked it.
There you go. I had a
But,
good
yeah,
time,
cool.
too. Some blind rankings
Cool.
for you.
That's the thing. I designed it in a way that no one wants, so I don't have to buy anything.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know. You all win.
Boom.
Everyone gets something.
So everyone gets something?
Yeah. 3 prizes.
How about this? Who owes me something? Malcolm and Matty. Nah, I'm gonna keep it as is. I'm gonna keep it as is.
But as is. So, we only have 2 cameras, so I guess Matt will edit accordingly. Is that camera good, or
Yeah, it's good.
you checked it? Yeah, Matt had to go abruptly.
Let's expose Matty.
Should we just talk about what just happened, or should we?
Yeah, I mean, we could just say generally that
Yeah.
Matty.
Matty
Oh,
fucked up.
there he is. He needs his what?
Oh yeah, you can get it. It's the rainbow bag. Yeah.
Here's Kevin, ladies and gentlemen.
There's Kevin. There's Mr. Fahim.
Kevin, we're live. Say hi. All right, yeah. So Matty got caught up in a little
Little affair.
familial tussle.
Familial.
Now, it
tussle.
was, it was one of those things where you, we can just put this in and he can choose to cut it out if he wants.
Sure.
It's just one of those things where you kind of try to tell a little fib to your parents and you get caught. You get caught.
Not only did Matty
Yeah.
get caught, he got caught big time.
Yeah.
The
Big
problem.
lie.
Yeah. It was just one. We mentioned this downstairs already, but it was one of those situations where everything that could have gone wrong went wrong,
That's right.
and it's a caught red-handed kind of situation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's just I get why he did it.
Okay, I told one tiny little lie to my parents, but I didn't fucking murder anybody. These guys make it sound like I killed somebody. Jesus Christ.
Can we?
But,
how about we
yeah.
end on this?
Yeah.
What's what's your like caught red-handed moment with your family? Because for me, I'll say it really quick. I already told the guys off air.
Yeah.
It was being with my ex-girlfriend who lived in a different city, and I tried to convince my mom because it was one of those things where it was like late at night, and we were talking on the like over text or something.
Yeah.
And we were both like really in a mood, like we just really wanted to do it.
Yeah.
We just really wanted to like be like in the like just be with each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she was like, just come over. And I was like, yeah, but like, it's like late and my parents don't let me sleep over. So like, what am I going to do? So I was just like, hey mom, one of my friends who I met on campus, like is inviting me to a sleepover. And she's like, who? Like, you never have sleepovers. And I was like, yeah, it was like this guy. And I was like, it was just so stupid. Cause like, I was like this random guy that I'm sleeping over. So she was like, she knew right away. And she was like, you're not fucking going over there. Like,
Yeah.
no. And I was like, all right. It was kind of embarrassing, but I was like, what?
you just hugged it. You hugged the L.
I think I did. I wasn't. I didn't. I tried to double down a couple of times, but eventually she was like, "I know you're just trying to just go see her or whatever." And I was like, "All right, whatever." I just kind of like gave up on it.
I can't think of one.
You don't have any that you
I
don't have
have
any
one.
lies
Not off
that
the
you
top
got
of my
caught at.
head, not
I
off
have
the top of
one
my
that
head.
just popped into my head. So
Okay.
I was in grade 9, I want to say.
Wow, that's young, man.
And I was in grade 9, and I had a pornographic tab on my phone. Right? But it was a search that I did like probably a week ago kind of thing.
Oh,
You
why
just
just
kept it
why just have
open for
open?
a
No. It wasn't open. It was like a past search.
Oh,
So
it's
my
history.
mom picks up my phone randomly. She goes,
Can you please tell us what the term was? What was the search term?
it was a video. It was on a video.
Oh, the history was what was the video called? Do you remember?
I couldn't tell
But
you.
when you click the search bar, it showed the name of the video. What I'm saying,
Let me explain
saying-
explain what happened, and you'll know exactly
But
what.
what I'm saying, history.
Angela White Black Rock.
She didn't see history.
Okay,
she didn't
go
see the
ahead.
history.
Yeah.
So, I had this search, and then it was a week. It was a week after, right? And so my mom is really upset with me,
Mm,
and I don't know what's happening.
mm.
She goes, "Open your phone right now. Unlock your phone." I was like, "What the hell?" So I unlocked the phone, and she takes my phone,
Mm.
and she's like, snooping. She's like looking around randomly. I'm like, what are you looking for? He's like, don't ask me. And I was like, oh, okay. Eventually, she finds Safari. She presses on Safari, and it's like some random search I did, like how many countries are in blank. I don't know. It's just some random search. Okay. And then she starts spamming the back arrow of like, go back. She's spamming it. I've never seen her spam anything before in her life. She's going like crazy.
But how did she find the
I
original?
don't know how she knew what to do or how to do it. She just did it. And then eventually it gets to that page.
What was it, Pornhub?
And it was a video.
Oh wow. Okay.
But it was on Pornhub, I think,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then she looks at me, and then I look at her, and I go, wait, it's not what you think. It's not what you think. She real calm. She didn't yell. After that, she didn't yell. Real calm. She closed my phone, put it down, stormed upstairs, and she was pissed, angry. So I went up to my mom and dad. And my mom and dad are there, like, just not impressed. I was like, guys, like, stuff pops up. Like, it was just one of those tabs that just like opened up. I was like trying to like stream a soccer game.
Like, you can see like he's halfway through the video.
And then they didn't believe me, obviously.
Yeah.
They were just like, okay, Patrick, just like go kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's like whatever. It is what it is.
I had a similar experience kind of where my mom has never caught me with that before.
Okay.
My dad, like, he kind of, knocked and came in really quick. And like there was like a scramble going on where he didn't see anything explicitly, but he knew that I was like kind of struggling to put something on.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like frazzled by him being there. So he was like reading the situation for a second, and he immediately knew.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I thought he'd be pissed. He was like, "Hey, like it's okay. Like don't be embarrassed. It's all good. It's no problem."
Yeah.
I was like probably like 14 or something like that. So I just started like crying. I was like, "This is fucking embarrassing as shit, dude."
Yeah.
Yeah, but and then one at a time, my grandma almost caught me, bro. It's like she was coming.
That
she
would
was,
have been a whole.
She was visiting from
monster,
Egypt, and it was the same situation where I was just putting my pants on really quick.
Yeah.
But she didn't like her face didn't change like emotion, so she didn't. I don't think she even knew what was going on. She thought I was just putting my pants on or something.
Oh, okay.
It was like there was no like, oh, what's going. She was just like, oh, hey, what's up? Like nothing.
Just like so
nothing
like
weird.
nonchalant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got nothing?
I thought of one. It was, I can't think of any recent ones, but in like I think it was like grade 5. I had a computer in my basement.
Here we go. I love how it's all related to porn.
Caught red-handed. Caught red-handed topic.
I had a computer in my basement that me and my brother shared. And my dad used, and we'd all go down there and just use it whenever. And me and my brother would like. I guess my brother was looking up the same kind of stuff I was at the time, and so I was looking up like Kate Upton boobs or stuff like that, and like it just piled up, and I didn't realize how much I was searching, and I didn't realize that there was like a log of like what I was looking at. And then when my mom came down and she saw it was on the computer, she screams at me and Dale to come down and take a look. She's like, "What is all this?" And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
You should have just been like, I don't know what Dad's up to.
I don't know what Dad's up to. It's crazy.
Just frame him.
I don't know what Dad's up to. It's crazy.
No,
Imagine him at that age ratting his dad
right?
out like that.
Like it's the fuck like it's like Nazi Germany. And it's like you're fucking turning in your parents for not supporting the regime.
Yeah, I got in pretty big trouble for that.
Yeah.
But I remember my dad got caught red-handed by my
Oh,
mom. 'Cause
wow.
He used to have there was a big white drawer
Was a
next to
magazine.
the computer in the basement, and it had like sports stuff, fishing stuff, but underneath all of it was a shit ton of porn magazines, like old porn magazines, and I'd go through them. And it's like hot biker girls, like in their
It's like all
bikinis
nudes,
and
too.
stuff.
Oh, is there, like, straight nudes
Not all
on there?
nudes, not all nudes.
But was there
Just
some that had straight nudes on there?
Some of them did. Yeah, and it was just she made him throw them out.
Oh God.
Bro, I remember one
That'd
time
be scary.
we'll see if we have to cut this out. But one time I was with my mom and my dad in the living room, and they came back from like Cuba or like one of those like tropical places, right? And they're showing me like videos. It's like my dad's phone, like he's taking the video. It's like oh, look at all these videos that we took, and they're scrolling through them, and it's like him by the pool, and my mom's next to him and whatever, and he's recording like the beach and like the pool in front and all these people, and then like he just like starts panning down. Oh no! And he starts panning down, and he like kind of like zooms in a little on this girl, on this like hot lady.
Yeah.
And then my mom turns to him and is like, "What is this garbage? Like, what are you doing?" And he was like, "What?" I'm just, whoa. But I don't think there was like a strong zoom.
Yeah.
But she was just perfectly centered.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Why is she the main focus of your shot?" She's like, "Oh, she just was standing in the way. Like I didn't mean to."
That's hilarious.
I got caught red-handed doing I got caught red-handed telling Daniel to do something and like trying to play it off. I was in Mexico and we were at the beach and there was this topless lady. She took off her top. She went to the beach. She was tanning, tits out and everything. I was like 10 years old. I was like, that's awesome. And I told Daniel, I'm like, take this volleyball, go over there and spike it at her.
Oh my god, dude.
Goes over there, he spikes it at her, hits her, and she gets all mad. And I'm like, Daniel, what are you doing?
Oh my god.
You're a snake. You're a slithering snake.
Imagine the feeling of the betrayal. The look on his face, like what I can't comprehend is what's happening right now. He's not understanding what's happening.
He's like 7 years old.
He must have been dumbfounded.
He's probably like, wait, did he tell me to do it or did he not tell me to do it?
Oh my god. Poor Daniel. So what happened?
I don't remember.
You just played off the. You were the hero.
But Dale's like, Marco told me
What did you expect to happen? Like, oh, thank you for telling me the truth. Now you get to like.
You know what I want? Like, I wish that's like Daniel goes like, oh, Malcolm told me to do it, and then he goes, why would I tell him to do that? Why would I tell him to do that? It's like some random lady. Why would I want her to be him?
It's like perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
Malcolm makes complete sense in this scenario.
Another
What was your award going to be? Like, you get 2 honka honkas. Like,
I don't know. I just wanted to see my brother do something stupid.
Oh man.
Another time on that exact same trip, I told my cousin was like maybe like 4 years old, and I was like, hey Olivia, like go touch that iguana, the really big iguana.
oh god.
And she goes over and she's about to touch it. My mom pulls her back, and then she goes, Malcolm, and I was like, no. And she just slaps me.
God damn it! You're just a shit disturber.
Troublemaker.
Bro. That's just your nature. What the hell? But yeah, so I guess this was a fun way to end.
We got a
off
couple
the,
notes. We got a couple notes.
Yeah.
What?
We got a couple notes.
We have notes. Oh, sorry.
We officially rejected Doja Cat.
Oh.
She wants to come on the pod. We couldn't have her. There's just no space. Couldn't afford to have
We're
her.
busy.
I thought we didn't want her.
We don't. I mean, we don't want
Is
her.
it
but
we can't or we don't want?
We don't want her. That's why we rejected her.
Okay, that's not what you said, but okay.
Yep.
Okay, so who do we want now?
And Patrick has an invite for somebody special.
I have the invite.
Sure.
Okay, sure. Dua Lipa, you are near and dear to my heart. That's actually really weird. Cut that, Matt. Pass it off to me.
Patrick has a special invitation.
Dua Lipa, you're a great singer. You were wonderful in the Barbie movie. We want you right here. And let me be perfectly clear. I patted this spot for a reason. I need you next to me.
God.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Perfect. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. This was another episode of Wildly Adequate. Like, share, subscribe.
And roast Matty in the comments.
Roast Matty into the comments. He got caught red-handed. He couldn't be here. Good night.
See ya.